The ongoing meeting of the BRICS nations in Russia is getting XRP holders and enthusiasts giddy with excitement as the prospect of a unitary currency between the BRICS nations and their continual rhetoric that is anti-dollar basically ramps up. So at the moment, members of the BRICS nations are coming together for another meeting in Moscow. And Russia is currently the chairperson, or the chair country, as you want to call it, of the BRICS organizations. And they're meeting to talk about several things. Now, the BRICS nations themselves aren't only just concerned about the dollar and building an alternative. In fact, that is a byproduct of what it is that they came together to do in the first place. They came together to band together to challenge the West generally, not necessarily the United States. So they believe that the West, which consists mainly of the United States, the UK, members of the European Union like Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and other countries like Japan, and to an extent Australia and New Zealand, have a stranglehold on the world economy, and they've pretty much had enough of it, right? And they're trying to A, build an alternative to the existing system, and B, challenge the powers that be. Obviously, within that, we have egos like Vladimir Putin, who probably has a personal thing against the United States and NATO and Western countries, etc., and is probably looking to not only provide an alternative, but possibly effect the downfall of his adversary. But really, they're getting together to talk about other things like, education, space research, science, etc. So there are other things that they're talking about except currency. But what is getting us excited in crypto and in the XRP ecosphere is the prospect of a BRICS currency. Now, personally, I think that this is ramping up a lot because I'm starting to see a lot of Western propaganda that is anti-BRICS, especially when it comes to dethroning the US dollar. Now, Al Jazeera isn't exactly anti-BRICS, and it's not necessarily a Western propaganda disseminator. So it's an alternative place that I also read news. So that gives me a balanced view from the usual sort of, Western media that basically tell us things that they want us to know. I'm not saying that they don't spit their own propaganda, but at least you're going to get another view from a different viewpoint. And yes, there are people saying it's going to be a massive uphill climb to dethrone the dollar. Of course, the US dollar is backed by the world's most powerful military, and that's pretty much it at the moment. And, the BRICS currency is designed, or will be designed, to be backed by very, very high value commodities like gold and oil, right? And it is also quite convenient that countries that are basically abundant, that have these commodities in abundance as natural resources, are members of BRICS. Russia itself is a powerhouse when it comes to oil. South Africa, powerhouse when it comes to gold on the ground. You have Brazil when it comes to, forestry and agriculture. Also Russia. You have China when it comes to industry. You have India when it comes to manpower and also industry and some natural resources like gold, So these countries they have what they need already. And with countries like Nigeria, Egypt and Venezuela and all these other countries that are also vast in natural resources who are trying to join BRICS, there is a limitless supply of commodities that the BRICS currency can be backed by. And of course, you have such characters as the president of Brazil, who's vehemently anti-dollar. As you can see here, he has questioned the world's dependency on the dollar. And who can blame him? The way the United States Fed has been printing money like no man's business, effectively an unelected private organization controlling the world economy by controlling the dollar, how much of it is available, selling debt to these nations, and then rug pulling them by printing more and causing massive inflation. So countries like China, like Brazil, India, obviously Russia, they're not happy about it, and they are looking to provide an alternative. Now, personally, even though it says that they will create a payment system, I don't think that we're going to see a BRICS coin or a BRICS token, a BRICS dollar, whatever you want to call that, a BRICS ruble, that is going to replace the currencies in these different countries. I don't expect to see South Africa change their money from the rand, or India change from rupees, or Chinese yuan, or whatever. What I expect to see is some kind of bridge currency that is blockchain based, just like, this article suggests. So it'd be some kind of payment system that is based on a blockchain, a kind of CBDC of sorts that can be used to back the currencies in each of these countries. So we're going to have the digital versions of these countries' currencies: digital ruble, digital rand, digital rupees, etc., backed by the digital BRICS token or whatever. So this is going to be tokenized on a blockchain, and that technology is going to be used, of course, to handle cross-border payments, moving money from these countries to the other, doing transactions with other countries that might also want to bridge into BRICS. Because, of course, when the BRICS currency does launch, it's going to be, one of the world's top currencies, if not the top world currency. So, of course, we're still going to have the pound, the dollar to deal with, and it's going to be trade with the United States and with Europe. So we're still going to have to bridge these BRICS token with the dollar, the euro, etc. Which is why people are excited. I'm not saying that XRP is going to be used for this. In fact, I'm definitely not saying that. I'm not saying that there is a currency that already has all the tools that is needed to facilitate such a BRICS token. I'm not saying that Russia is pro XRP. I'm not saying that China is pro XRP. I'm not saying that Brazil is pro XRP. I'm not saying that there is already a digital Brazilian that's been tokenized on the XRP ledger. I'm not saying that that's some sort of test bed for what could happen with the with the Brazilian currency itself. I'm not saying that South Africa, which has been looking at XRP in different projects and has had the presence of the XRP ledger in South Africa, at least in the form of XRP healthcare, I'm not saying that that could be a precursor to something that might happen. I'm not saying that XRP's acceptance in the APAC region, right, in China, in Singapore, in Malaysia, and those places, I'm not saying that this is some sort of test bed or some sort of, beta testing series. I am definitely not saying that the United States government's constant hate for XRP has anything to do with this. I'm not going to say that the banks, even though having worked with the XRP ledger and Ripple over the years, have somehow just gone against the currency and gone after it in the courts, regardless of the fact that it is more pure, probably, than all the other coins that have now effectively been given the go-ahead by the acceptance of the Ethereum ETFs. While there's still a persisting legal battle against XRP, I'm not saying that the United States government and the powers that be are deliberately keeping XRP down to where it is at the moment. And I am definitely not saying anything about Ripple's implementation of a new stable coin on the XRP ledger. I'm not saying any of that has anything to do with any of this. I'm just saying that the writing is on the wall. The BRICS currency is going to happen in one way or the other. Whether or not it replaces the existing currency of the countries, I don't think it is. Or it serves as a bridge between the countries and outside the countries, right? With other powers like, the United States and other countries that are non-BRICS members. Not saying any of that. So writing is on the wall. Not financial advice, do your own research. And of course, there's one big move that the US government can make that is always on the table.